Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
Good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be back once again talking to you about my favorite topic, which is small business. As you know, your business can only go as far as you're prepared to take it. So what we really focus on is helping you become a better leader so you can move your business forward faster and easier. That's why each week we have a special guest. All of them have developed an expertise in different areas of leadership and business management. This week, like many others, we cover all types of different topics, and we have a lot of great guests. So today, we've got our guest is Dr. P, and she, really has an expertise in helping you to be able to create solutions and results. It's important as a business owner. Sometimes we get stuck and really don't focus as much on the key things we need to focus on, and as a result, don't get the results that we want to have. So we're going to talk about how can you achieve better results. And Dr. P created a system and a process that we're going to learn about, and so I'm excited about that as well. So let me bring her on and we'll get started.
Hey.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. So I'm joining you with my little dog there in the background.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So welcome. Thanks for joining. He's just the dog's just watching to make sure you don't say anything beyond what they want, what you should. So.
Yeah, that's what it is. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm excellent. So, we were chatting, I guess, last week a little bit about some of the things you do, and, really working with a lot of business owners to help them be more successful. And, as a result, you were able to develop your program. So we're going to talk more, learn more about that. But before we do that, we want to learn a little bit about you. Who are you? What is your journey? And how did you get to where you are? And what are some of the key things that you learned across along the way? So I'll give you a few minutes to introduce yourself.
All right, only a few minutes, Andrew. Oh my gosh. I could definitely do that. Thank you so very much, first off, for having me on Leadership Live at 8:05. You don't know how many times I practiced that, Andrew, just to do a video earlier today. So hi, y'all. Thanks so much for joining Andrew and I this evening. I'm Dr. Priscilla Coucer. I go by Dr. P. And like Andrew said, and if you can't tell, I absolutely love what I do. And helping business owners find solutions is something that excites me and it excites them. So Andrew wanted me to do a brief introduction, I guess. I'll do it as brief as I possibly can, but still being able to share as much information about who I am and my background. So I am a strategic business coach and management consultant, and I work not specifically, but predominantly with micro business owners, helping them to scale their business by learning strategies to improve their goals, their processes, and their operations. And the reason why I work with micro business owners is because I truly believe that micro business owners are the backbone of any economy wherever we are in the world. A lot of the big businesses we see today started small, and a lot of the business owners I work with, they have their hearts, their eyes set on being one of those big businesses in years to come. And in working with micro business owners, really help them with finding what I've created and called their opal. And the opal is organizational development, personal skills and abilities, leadership, and education. So the opal is spelled OPLE because I am dyslexic, and also because of opal the gem. Opal the gem, a lot of people think it's white with little sparkly bits only, but they don't realize that opals actually come in different shapes and sizes and colors. So just like how opals naturally occur with diverse characteristics and unique structures, that's how I view the micro businesses that I work with. And I want to help micro business owners to find their opals so that they can shine and truly hit the goals that they have for the business that they created. And why did I get started with this? Just like many of you who are watching this who are business owners, you got started because you wanted to help others, right? You wanted to create a difference. You wanted to improve things. And I really wanted to take my experiences within psychology, within education, within leadership, and to help business owners truly accomplish what it is they set out to do, and to change those statistics. Because in the US, 50% of small businesses make it to 5 years. And that shouldn't be, because a lot of the small businesses, we have such unique value propositions, but because we don't have all of the foundational aspects, and like Andrew mentioned, you might not be able to access the solutions that you need so you can actually move your business forward. And that is what I really want to be helping business owners do. Find those solutions so that you can move your business forward to get those results that you want, that you desire, that you need, so that you don't close before 5 years, that you last the 5 years and beyond, because you started your business for a reason. You have something to offer. Let's make sure that we set you up correctly, get you connected to those solutions so that you can keep moving forward. And as Andrew mentioned, I really want to help micro business owners with surviving. So that's part of why I am on Andrew's show today. He wanted me to be able to share a little bit of the solutions plus actions equals results. If you follow me on social media, you hear me say that a lot. Call it SoAR, and really have worked that into the SoAR coaching program that I implement with business owners when we work together. And within those programs, we work with for either 6 months or 12 months or even 2 years. And we're really helping you with crafting those solutions that are unique to your business. So this is not a situation wherein, hey, Roberta, this is not a situation wherein, I'm taking just one thing and applying it to everybody's business. Every business is so unique. It is so different. And really understanding what makes you unique is very important for your value proposition that you're offering in your business to help you with that competitive advantage so that you can actually soar above your competition. So, Andrew, did I miss anything?
No, I look forward to learning more about how to soar.
Yes.
So definitely excited about that. You have a formula, and formulas are always good. Actually, I had my brother on the show, and he wrote a book called The Fraser Formula for Success.
There you go.
It's success equals vision times a plan to the right attitude. To the power really of the right attitude.
Yeah.
But I always give him a hard time because he was never a math guy. So I'm like, what are you doing with
but he's doing a math formula now.
You got to do that to your younger siblings,
Oh, you're the older one. That's why.
But no, I like that you have a formula. Real quick, just what is that? explain your formula, just at a real high level, and where it came from.
That formula, where did that come from? I would have to say from my days of being a school psychologist and special education director and all the other experiences in between, working with on professional development committees, being a member of professional organizations, being a member of trade shows. It came from 15 plus years of experience. Don't want to date myself here, Andrew, gotta keep gotta keep the age on the wraps, right? But it came from more than 15 years of experience. And it was always something that I realized I kept doing in order to achieve a result. How do you even get to that result? You gotta find a solution. That's true. But there was always something else between the solution and the result. And that's where the action came in, because we sit down and regardless of what situation was in, there was some problem we had to be able to identify. Professional development committees, it was a matter of how do we get more people to sign up for the association, looking at that as a problem. How do we get more people to register for the conference? How do we get more vendors to want to participate in this trade show, to be part of vendor show? How do we get more proposals submitted? So it's looking at what is the problem. Then it was identifying solutions for that. And it's not just one person identifying the solution, because when I'm sitting on committees, it's not just me, it's a committee. So it's made up of several people. So we're looking at the same problem, but we're coming at it from different aspects. And we're able to collaborate, we're brainstorming, trying to come up with what could be the best solution for that problem. And if you've ever sat on a committee with other people, that brainstorming session can go from 5 minutes to several hours or even days. And then when we do come up with solutions, how can we craft them all together to really address the problem we're facing? And like I mentioned, my background is in school psychology and special education administration. So it's a matter of, we had an issue, child was facing some problem, and we had to figure out how can we address this problem? What are the resources we're going to need? Is it going to be training that we're going to need to give the staff? How are we truly going to support this student or students in order to help them move forward? And in some cases, it was, how are we going to even support the staff? Because the staff don't have what they need to help students, then how can students be successful? Or how can parents learn about different information? And even working with leadership within education, looking at what are the bigger problems we're facing right now. If we're looking at morale issues, if we're looking at job satisfaction issues, if you're looking at accountability issues, what really is that problem? And collaboratively coming up with solutions. And notice I say collaboratively, because again, I'm not the only person on the team. So it's a matter of working with the other people on that team to collaborate with others and create a solution that is relevant to the problem we are facing. And for those of you who have worked with others before, you could read in a book and you see all of these problems and people say, use solution A. But, without fail, when you're looking through what their problem was, there was always one or two things that didn't quite match your situation, but you're trying to fit their solution onto your problem. And then when that solution doesn't work out for you, you're like, why the hell this didn't work out? Because if your solution isn't clear, then how are you going to then take the appropriate actions? So it has to be aligned. So you're having that clear and appropriate solution, then you're better able to take the appropriate action. But we can't just be taking actions, Andrew. We can't. We got to be able to monitor those actions. Because if we just start and we keep going and going and going, then we're not taking the opportunity to stop and evaluate those actions. So we really needed to sit and evaluate, hey, does this action even make sense? Is it working? But then part of the working is, what is our metric? What are we using to even measure what we're doing, the direction in which we're going? Should we be going up? Should we be going down? Are we flatlining? What is it we're really expecting? Because once you take the time to do that evaluation, then we're better able to see, hey, we're actually getting the results we wanted. Like, this shit worked. Oh my gosh, we got this. This is working. And we get so excited because it's getting us to where we want to be. But we can't get that result we wanted if we did not take the time to sit down and truly identify the problem and work collaboratively on the solution, then take the actions, monitor them, and evaluate them.
Okay. No, I mean, definitely. Those are some key things. I look forward to digging into that a little bit more and then some examples. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and you'll learn about a solution that I have for entrepreneurs and business owners. And then I'll be back talking to Dr. P about solutions, actions, and results. Are you running your business, or is it running you? Is your business growing, and are you making enough money? Are you having cash flow issues, or do you need financing? Like most business owners, you probably don't have a strategic plan for 2024. Not to worry, we're going to help you make 2024 your best year ever. That's why we created the Masterpreneur training program. You'll learn from the experts about how to work on your business and not in your business, and scale your business for greater profit. The Masterpreneur training program is specifically tailored to help you gain advanced knowledge to be able to create a sustainable business that can run without you. The Masterpreneur training program will teach you to prepare yourself and your business for scaling successfully. The Masterpreneur training program features online and virtual activities that are measurably broader, deeper, and more comprehensive than other training programs. And the Masterpreneur training program is specifically tailored to help you gain advanced knowledge about working on your business rather than in it. If you want to make this happen even faster and easier, you should register for the Masterpreneur Growth Accelerator program, an instructor-led program with a group of your peers. Register now to make 2024 your best year ever. Visit sbprou.com/masterpreneur-training. Okay. All right. Welcome back.
We're back.
I'm here with Dr. P, and we're going to just sort of dissect this a little more. We're going to start out with solutions. And, it seems like you sort of wrapped a whole bunch of things up in solutions. So, and sometimes when I have a process that I follow, it starts with assessment, and then envisioning, and then analysis, and then recommendations, implementation, and measurement. So actually the solutions kind of, you wrap up assessment, envisioning, and analysis into figuring out what the solution is.
Yes.
So what's the first thing you do when you're working with someone and you're trying to help them get the handle on what their solution needs to be? You got to first sort of assess and figure out, well, what's the problem? So how do you do that with them?
You definitely need to assess what is the problem, because a lot of times people I've worked with, they come with what they believe is the issue that they're facing. And I have to sit and I have to listen to what they're actually sharing with me. And it is through that listening and that active listening at that, I'm taking notes, and not mental notes. I'm talking actually taking notes and listening, because that helps me to truly identify what really is this problem that we're looking at. And that means that by doing that, I'm able to figure out which assessment I would use to dig even deeper. Because as I mentioned, my background is in school psychology, and anyone who knows anything about school psychology knows that school psychologists are heavily trained in assessment. And then my doctorate is in industrial organizational psychology, where I got to learn even more about different types of assessments. So before you can even start creating a plan, you really have to have a good foundation for what the problem is and to be able to outline different aspects of that problem. And that's where assessment comes in. And there are different kinds of assessments. There are some people who do interview type assessments or survey-based assessments, or you could do a combination of that quantitative and qualitative approach to really figure out what is the problem. And that's if you're working with a singular person. If you have fun like me and you work with co-founders, you do have to have that assessment with all the co-founders, because whatever is the foundational problem in the business, you need to understand the different aspects of it. And once you can get that assessment done, you now have to sit down and analyze your results. So if you have been trained in psychometrics, then you know how to analyze those results, right? And you look at those results and it helps you to see some trends. Because yes, you can do the subjective way, have that conversation, you get greater insight. And you're like, okay, I have a better idea of what could be the problem. Then you use your objective assessments to really bring it home. Like, yep, this is a problem, but specifically these areas are what we need to be targeting. Once you have that, then you can look at what would be the most appropriate for this particular situation.
Okay. No, excellent. So, one thing I find is, a lot of times what people think is the problem isn't really the problem. And that's why it could be helpful to have someone external come in and work with you, because a lot of times you're seeing the symptoms. So you think you could give an example of, a situation that you may have run into where, you were doing the assessment, they thought it was one thing, you realized it was something else, and how did you help them to understand that?
Okay. Now, given an example, geez, now I got to figure out which one is the best one for me to give here, Andrew. Geez, should have had these questions beforehand, y'all. So if I think about an example, somebody who comes to mind was a female business owner. And when she first started talking to me about wanting to work with me to get the business coaching because she wanted to be able to develop an aspect of one of her services, right? And she was having some trouble doing that. And she couldn't figure out why she was having trouble doing this. And we had the conversation and I took her through some questioning to get some more information about, okay, what exactly is stopping her from moving forward? What is the challenge she's facing, so that I can see how best I can help her. So as we're there talking and going over the results of the assessment with her, I realized that she's focused on development of one of her services, but what really is her issue was time management. It had nothing to do with actually developing the service, but her greater issue was a time management issue. And being able to say to her, hey, here's where you're truly struggling. And if you don't fix this, then you won't be able to have that time set aside to do the research you need, to do the creation, the planning that you need to really help you with crafting out this aspect of this service that you really want to be offering to others. And she looked at me, she's like, but I thought, I was going to come here and you're going to tell me about helping me, coach me through how I could create this thing for my service. But now that I'm talking to you and you're explaining to me about the time management issue, I think I can see why I'm having so many problems. So then, even though she would started this whole thing about one aspect she wanted to fix, because I mentioned the issue of time management, she then offloaded a whole set of other stuff on me about some other things she was trying to do, and that wasn't working out. And then some other things that came in, and she was feeling distracted or pulled in multiple ways. And she sat down, and I never forget, she sat down and she looked dead into the camera, and she went quiet, and she's like, you're the first person to help me see that my issue is actually time management. And she was just so surprised that I was able to help her through that within a half an hour. We were going through this process, and she wanted to know, okay, how can we get started on this? So right away, we were able to start looking at a plan for helping her with improving her time management skills. And it wasn't just pull an article out of a book and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. It was really looking at what she already had in place. And then we looked at some systems she already had in place, things she had tried before. We talked about why those things didn't work and what about them she actually liked. Then I showed her some other things that she can actually implement to intertwine with the things that worked with her before. She was like, you sure? I'm not sure if that's going to work, right? And Andrew, you got to love it, right? When they're like, you sure? You sure this is going to work? And when they actually start putting those actions into place and they see the benefits of it, it's like, wow, this makes such a huge difference. Now I can actually get things done, and now she's able to free her mind up to actually have the time set aside to develop that service that she wanted to develop.
Okay, excellent. Great example. So that wasn't that hard.
It wasn't hard. The hard trying to pick one, Andrew. That was where the tough part came. Which one am I going to do?
So, and I run into that a lot as well. I help a lot of people with financing. But I'd say 90% of the people that I talk to about financing that want financing, they don't really deserve financing at the time they want it for what they want it for. So, so it's for whatever reason. But, financing is great in the right situations, but certain situations, your problem's not money. Your problem might be you're not selling enough. Your problem might be your costs are too high. All those things give the symptom of cash flow issues and lack of money, but that, you can't fix the cash flow issues with more money. If there's an underlying problem, you're just going to make things worse. So definitely having someone who can help you really understand what the root cause of what's going on can be extremely helpful. So the first piece, we're talking about assessing where you are. The next piece is envisioning. Part of it is, assessment helps you know where you are. Envisioning helps you clarify where you want to be. So, I try and go through some exercises with clients to really help them envision where they want to be. What types of things do you work with people? How do you help them gain clarity around where they want to go? Because a lot of times they have some idea, but a lot of times it's not as clear and detailed as it really should be.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of times they have an idea, but because they're not quite sure how to take that next step, uh, there's also you have the fears and the anxieties of the unknown, and oh my gosh, this is a big risk. I don't take risks, and now you're asking me to take risks, and I remind them, you decided to start a business, so you already started taking risks right there because you decided to start a business, and starting a business is not for the faint-hearted. And I'm sure for all the business owners watching this, all the entrepreneurs, they have heard that before. That's nothing new. Starting a business is not for the faint-hearted. It is the ups, the downs, the lovely roller coaster ride. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and you have to be able to stay focused on what it is you want to be moving forward to. So like with my formula, the solutions plus actions equals results. In order to get people to take the action, there is something that they have to go through, and that's where that personal component of the opal system comes into play. It's looking at your personal skills and your abilities, and for many it has a lot to do with confidence, and it has to do with mindset. So you might have a little fear and anxiety in the mix, but you also have that confidence and that mindset, and it's getting them ready for creating a behavioral change. And changing behaviors isn't easy. because you're asking someone to stop doing something that they're comfortable with doing, that they're used to doing, even though it's not really working out how they want it to work out, but they still want to keep doing it. Why? Because it's comfortable. But the comfort and growth, they don't exist together, right? So it's a matter of, this is what the problem is. This is what you said that you want to accomplish. Here's how we're going to accomplish it. But you have to be ready to take that change. You have to be ready to take that step. You have to be ready to go into that unknown. You have to be ready to take that risk, because you have your business and you want your business to survive. And if you want your business to survive, you have to be able to lead those who are a part of your business and lead them into the direction of success. Because you have people working with you, or right now it may just be you. Point is, you're still a leader in your industry, in your field, and you have to be able to have that confidence. It does not happen overnight. And you do have to have some support around you as well. And for some individuals I've worked with, that support has been family support, or it has been friend support, or it has been support that came in the form of one of the networking groups that they're a part of. And you have to be able to, rely on that support, ask for help when you need to, and be open to the suggestions. Because a big part of the success in coaching is you have to be open to the feedback that you're receiving and actually apply that feedback, and then be held accountable for applying that feedback. So when you're looking at, increasing your confidence, changing your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, embracing the opportunity for success. Because it might sound strange, but some people are afraid of success because they've experienced failure so much. The thought of having success is like, oh my God, I'm going to be successful. What am I going to do? But we are going to get our successes. Just like how we get our failures, we're going to get our successes. So really sitting down and getting them ready for that mindset shift and helping them to align themselves with individuals who are also on that path of success. Because if you're aligning yourself with people who want to be mediocre, who want to stay in the comfort, who don't want to take any risks, then you find yourself in that same position. But your business isn't going to grow if you don't go out there and take the risk on behalf of your business. You want it to grow. You don't want it to stay stagnant. You want it to grow. And if you're talking to a business coach, if you're working with a management consultant or, leadership coach, executive coach, you're working with these individuals because you want to make a change. So when you're working with the coaches, they're going to help you with making that change. But you have to be ready, willing, and open to accept the information and then implement that information so that you can truly make the changes you need to be making.
Okay, great. So, they say sort of, you deal with tasks efficiently, you deal with them quickly, but you deal with people effectively. So, you can't just go the quickest route, and, people are different. So you got to approach different people different ways. So, I think definitely there's a lot of psychology in helping people to guide them to where they need to go. And, obviously that probably helps you be more effective at what you're doing. I think that's a key thing is, if you're going to get help and if you're going to work with someone, you got to understand, like you said, you still got to do the work. Nobody can do it for you. And nobody can make someone do something, except for if you're in the military.
You were in the military, so you know.
I was in the military. I did some things that number one was getting tear gassed. I definitely was not do that.
I work with military folks, and I work with a colonel, lieutenant colonel, majors. Yeah, I saw how they work with their team. No joke.
Yeah.
They can make people do things.
Right. But one thing that you talked about was there's a lot of risk in entrepreneurship, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of people come into entrepreneurship really not prepared for what they're going to need to do and experience. And one of the things that I always try and let people know is, for a while you're probably going to work harder and make less than you would if you had a job. So if you're not down with that, you might want to have a job.
So true.
And actually, in my book, like the sixth chapter, it's
Mhm.
called "Can I Get My Old Job Back?" Because a lot of times, business owner, you're in business, and I've thought it a few times too, but some people think it all the time. So it's common. So and part of it is the risk and the challenge, and not necessarily knowing what to expect and being prepared for it.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about assessment
Mhm.
and envisioning. So we figured out where we are. We figured out where we're going.
Yes.
So now, how do we get there? And that's really the solution. So, what is your approach to finding and developing solutions with people? Do you usually figure out the solution, tell them, how does it work, and how are you able to do that successfully for people?
It depends, because if it's a consulting type situation, then it's going to be figuring out that solution and sharing that information with them. If it's within the coaching environment, there is a lot more collaboration going on just because of the nature of the coaching relationship and the information that they're sharing within it. Because we have more time in the coaching relationship. In the consultation, we either have like 30 minutes or 60 minutes, because those are the two options that we currently offer. But in the business coaching, those are a minimum of 6 months, and within those, we really get to have those deep conversations that we don't normally have. And for the business owners I've worked with, some of them have worked with business coaches before, and others have not worked with business coaches. And to be able to have the opportunity to sit down and share about what is working for them, what is not working for them, and having somebody to listen to them and help them piece together all the things that they're struggling with, they feel really relieved, like, oh my gosh, yes, I finally get help with this. But I say to them, I can only help you if you be open and honest with me, because I can only make decisions based off of the information that you're providing or that you're sharing with me. And together we can look at what that solution can be. Because sometimes, like you mentioned, Andrew, you gotta go through that. Sometimes you're working really hard and you're not getting paid as much as you would if you were working for somebody else. So when you're going through those hardships, sometimes going to work for somebody else seems tempting. But there is nothing like working on your own business and watching that grow and watching that thrive. And to be able to do that, you got to find those solutions for those obstacles that you're facing, for those challenges that you're facing, and realize it's not going to last forever, because you left that job that you were in for a reason, because there were a ton of things in there that you couldn't stand and you didn't even want to be dealing with. So that's why you're working for yourself now. So all of that energy and effort you put in for somebody else, you're now going to be looking at putting in for yourself. And in some instances, you're also learning why that organization did things how they did them, because you're now looking at building up your organization, right? So it's a matter of, when you're looking at those solutions, looking at it from a collaborative point of view and really finding diverse solutions for that specific company to match their needs. Because ultimately, from those solutions, you want them to take action. You don't want to come up with glitzy, glossy plans with these solutions that seem so far fetched. Because if they can't afford to do the solution, then what good is that solution for them? And by afford it, I don't just mean the monetary part, but you have the monetary part, you have the time part, you have the skills part. And if they don't have what is needed for the solution I come up with, then that means my solution is not relevant for them. It's just something I pulled out of thin air. I'm like, huh, slap on this. This should work for you. But then that will go against what I work with individuals. And I do work on getting diverse and unique solutions for them. So we're going to find a solution to work with the budget you currently have. Not the budget you want to have, but the budget you currently have, so that you can get to the budget that you want to have. And with that, you have to get creative. There are some things you might have to take on yourself for now till you can get more revenue coming in, and then you can pay somebody to do it. You might be taking on 5 roles for now because you don't have the money to hire somebody else to take on specific tasks. So you're looking at skill sets. So helping them understand what their skill sets are. And another thing that works for me is understanding their learning style. Because I remember I talked about the opal system and the E's for education. And part of education is understanding learning styles. And we all learn differently. So being able to help business owners and co-founders really look at what their learning style is helps them to truly understand how they're going to actually be implementing that solution and how they're going to be continuing to monitor their actions on that solution. Because you first have to learn what the solution is all about. That's where that learning style is going to come in. So once you can learn it, then you can take the actions and then be able to monitor those actions. Because that's what you want to be able to do. Because the whole thing is to be driven by your goals. You're driven by the goals that you have in your strategic plan. And I saw you were advertising your Masterpreneur program. You talked about having that strategic plan. And the strategic plan is also something I work on with micro business owners, because as you mentioned, people get started in entrepreneurship because they're like, yes, I got a great idea. It's going to save the world. This is my business. Everybody's going to come and buy from me. I'm going to be so successful. I got this. To hell and back with anybody else because I'm going to be so successful. But they don't necessarily have a plan. And I've met people who, oh, I got my business plan, so I'm going to be so successful. The business plan has its uses, but it's your strategic plan that truly helps you with moving forward. And Andrew, you know that with that strategic plan, you do get to identify your goals, but you also get to look at your vision and your mission for your company, for your business, and look at those goals that you have. And then you start really looking at, okay, what are the smaller goals to get me to those bigger goals? Because you want to be able to move. If your business isn't moving forward, then you have to be asking yourself, why is it not moving forward? So again, being able to understand the learning style, being able to know, hey, can you afford it from a monetary point of view, from a time point of view, from a skills point of view? Those are important in understanding if that solution is appropriate for that business owner, for that business, so that they can actually take the actions so they can get the results they want.
Great. I love what you're saying, and it's really about meeting people where they are, and helping them move forward in the best way possible. Yes. So like you said, everybody needs a custom solution. You may have the same problem, but your solution may need to be different from someone else's. So, taking into account the time, the money, the skills, the resources people have. I think that's a huge thing on the marketing side, because most people see what big businesses do for marketing, but generally as a small business, you need to do the opposite. So, if you're trying to do what they do, first you're competing head to head with them, but also they have different time, money, skills, and resources. So you're at a disadvantage. So really understanding what the right solution for you is good, and it's great that you do that, and also learning style. Some of my clients, recommend a book, they'll read it. Some of my clients, I got to do videos with them.
Yes.
Some of my clients, so you got to figure out what works for them, so that they can get what they need to get out of the experience. So I got a message here from Jack Cox. What's up, Jack? talk a little bit about the definition of coach, someone who encourages someone to do something they don't want to do for their own good, or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
It might not always be something they don't want to do. It is something that they might be aware that they should be doing, but they're hesitant in doing it, because being able to highlight to someone the benefits of the action is more likely to get them on board with taking the action. Because a lot of times, if you're not sure about something, you've never done it before, you never heard anybody talk about it before, sometimes we can be hesitant to take that action. But to be able to say, hey, we sat down, we looked at your strategic plan, we created your strategic plan, you said you want to get from here to here, and in order to do that, this is what you got to do in between. So I've even seen it where, I had a client give the suggestion of, this is what you'll need to do, and she decided, I don't want to do that, I want to do something else. I'm like, okay, but it's not going to get you the result that you want. So she went ahead, she did what she wanted to do, and guess what? She comes back and she's like, oh, that didn't work out how I wanted, how I thought it was going to work out. So I'm going to try something else. Still not what I had suggested based on what we had planned out, but she wanted to go a different route. And she comes back and she's like, oh, yeah, that other one didn't work out either. Okay, now I'm ready to try it the way that you said and we talked about, and okay, now I'm ready to do it. So it's also a matter of readiness, because when something is unknown to us, we might not be ready to take that action, but we also can't force a person to take that action. It's their business. As much as we want them to do it so they can be successful, they still need to be ready to take the action. And then when they're ready to take the action and they go ahead and take it, it's a matter of holding them accountable and then showing them the benefits of that action that they took, which is showing them the progress they've made.
Okay, great. So yeah, so definitely, taking it to action. But one thing about what you're talking about is, it's systematic. You don't want to take action before you know what the solution is.
So true.
because then you're out there winging it. And,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to be out there winging it successfully.
Successfully.
Sometimes you got to go slow first
Mm-hmm.
before you can go fast.
And Andrew, with you mentioning going slow, and it kind of goes back to a point we were talking about earlier. People start and they want it to take off instantly. Like you said with financing, they come to you and they're like, I need more money. But after talking to them, you're like, no, you don't need more money. You need to figure out how to use the money you currently have in an effective way. But they're like, no, you said that you can give me $100,000 in 10 minutes. So give me this money, right? Because I'm going to take it and I'm going to multiply it. But they don't have a plan for it. But they want you to give them something, and you're just adding to the problem. They don't have a solution. They think more money is a solution. A better marketer is a solution. Find somebody who can write something for me on social media. That's going to be my hot ticket item. Get an influencer, and that influencer is going to take my business off. But they're not looking at all the other tedious things that come into play. I was having this conversation this evening itself with a client, and we were talking about the fact that you do have to take the time to develop the things you're going to be selling in your business. Because if you do not take the time to develop it, you can go and get the money you want, it will disappear, and you can't figure out where it went. So it's a matter of, you need to take the time. And I said, I've done it. And I know several people who've done it. Yes, we want to be pushing the gas, right? Going 110 miles per hour. But it doesn't make sense to be going that fast if you don't have a path to be going along.
Yep. No, definitely. That's key. Actually, Jack responded to your response to the question. He's an accountant, so he said that he's in agreement, but you're much kinder and gentler than he would be.
Okay, Jack. The numbers now, right? Jack's like, no, I want you to do this. But you see, as an accountant, though, Jack, you do need people to do things. Because if they do not do that, then they will lose money.
Yeah. So
And
no,
if they
no,
do not do that, they'll get a
definitely.
tax fee or something. So I got you, Jack. I got you.
Yeah. Easy on the account. All right. So
I'm easing off, Jack. I'm done.
so no, definitely. So we talked about solutions. We talked about actions.
Mhm.
Putting those together to get results. But what does results mean, and how do you figure out what the results are that you should get and make sure you get them?
Oh, that was it. The question. Jeez. Good thing I pay attention, Andrew. Oh my gosh.
Okay, you want me to ask you more? Or?
I'm waiting for more there.
All right.
That's good.
All right.
So in terms of the results part of it, that problem identification, I learned problem identification through my school psychology training and also through industrial organizational psychology training, because you got to be able to identify the problem in order to get to the solution. And as you're going through that problem identification phase, then there are going to be certain key metrics that you are looking at to really help you define what the problem is. And then once you identify those metrics, then when you're looking at a solution that can help solve that problem, it has to be a solution that is going to target those same key areas. Because you don't want an apple and orange situation here. If your problems are with apples and your solution is for oranges, then it's not going to work out for you. You want to be able to find a solution that will attack that problem to resolve the problem. And when you're taking the actions that you're taking, again, should be helping to move that metric. So it could be something that you want to be increasing, or it could be something that you want to be decreasing. So being in that problem identification phase, that's where you're going to be identifying, this is a problem. Do we need to increase this, or is this something we need to decrease? And this is what we're looking at to look at how we're increasing. This is what we're looking at to look at how it's decreasing. So when you start taking those actions, you have to have a system in place for the processes that you're implementing with these actions. And part of that system is, how are you tracking the actions you're taking? And in tracking the actions that you're taking, again, you're using the same metric that you identified when we looked at the problem. So now you're going to be tracking those actions. And when you sit to look at your results, you're doing that evaluation, you're doing that analysis, and you're looking at, okay, this is where the metrics were when we're looking at the problem. We implemented the solution. We wanted this to be going up. Yes, it's gradually going up. But the thing about results, though, is that a lot of times people think that if it's clearly going up like this, it's going to be good. But if you got some data points going all over the place, they're like, oh, this isn't working. So really being able to have that psychometric background, to be able to look at trends in the data that you are obtaining to help you see, okay, this is actually going in the upward direction we want. So yes, we're meeting our target, or it's going into the downward direction we want. Yes, we're meeting our target. Because there's a lot that goes into analysis and evaluation of our actions. It's not necessarily a yes, no. It's not necessarily 5 times I got five interactions with my post. Sometimes it is looking at what some people call inconsistent results, but they're not inconsistent. It is once you can plot it on a graph and truly look at the trend for the data that you're obtaining, you can see if it's truly working for you.
Okay. All right. So you said a lot of things in this, a lot of interesting stuff. So, first I want you to know that you are seen by
Hey, Precious.
Master Williams, and definitely talk about data. data can tell you a lot of things that you really didn't know about your business. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I look at people's financials, and in like 10 minutes, I could probably tell them several things they don't know about their business that they need to know. So, you know, very, very important to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is, you know, most entrepreneurs have like ADD. So, you know, they're bouncing off the walls with ideas and doing stuff. And, you know, the problem is that, you know, when you start getting to the solutions and the results, you know, it's kind of boring stuff. And it's stuff you got to do every day. And, you know, if you like to be all over the place doing new stuff, new ideas, it could be a challenge. Um, so, you know, so definitely, you know, getting help with that or figuring out and understanding that's what you need to do if you're going to get the results that you want to have is critical. So, so no, I mean, I think we covered some great stuff. An hour's never long enough. Really explore it with people who, you know, are very knowledgeable and have a lot of expertise to share. But, you know, at least everybody's gotten, you know, a feel. I mean, I think learned some things, and you know, it's been you know, been very valuable. You know, I got Precious is, you know, Precious and I went over her financials initially. That was always fun. That's always fun.
That's always such a fun thing because you're the financial guy. You see, you go over financials. For
So-
me, I get to go over the operations and the processes, you know,
So-
and they're like, we got these things. I'm like, do
Yeah.
you? So they show it to me, and I'm like, okay, I can see where your problem is. You know, so it's
Yeah.
always interesting.
Yep. Yep. So what I want to do is usually before we close out, I want you to take a minute because, you know, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but most people can only remember 3 things. So we want to break it down and maybe think about what are the 3 key things that people should take away from today's conversation that they can implement starting tomorrow within their business. So I'll give you a minute to think about it. And I'm going to show, you know, a brief video about our community we have for entrepreneurs and business owners, and as well, those of you who didn't make it last Friday, we had our Power Breakfast and Conference, which is always great. And I put a link in the chat for you to, you know, where you can check out the pictures and access, you know, highlights of it. So definitely check it out. But I'll give Dr. P a few minutes to think about the question, and then we'll
Thank
be
you.
talking small business. So here we go.
Your business can only go as far as you're prepared to lead it. You need access to expert advice, important connections, and valuable resources to achieve your goals. What can we do to help? I created the Small Business Pro Network to help you to grow your business smarter, faster, and easier by meeting you where you are along your journey from startup to scaling. We will help you to accelerate your growth, maximize your profitability, and create a sustainable business that can run successfully without you. But how do we do this? As a member of the Small Business Pro Network, you'll have access to private, in-person, and online networking activities to build valuable relationships with important connections, expert advice and curated content to help you gain the knowledge you need to grow revenue and increase profit, and our proven proprietary Masterpreneur playbook and weekly action plans will guide you along the critical path for creating a sustainable business that can run without you. Where can you get all of this for less than $1 a day? Only at the Small Business Pro Network, www.sbpronetwork.com.
I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Okay, welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. Talking small business here tonight with Dr. P, and she's dropping her knowledge, and now she's just going to help prepare us for what we need to do tomorrow. So what are the 3 things that people should take away from what we discussed today?
3 things, only 3 things. Oh my gosh, I needed more time. So the first thing I would say is don't necessarily rush to think what you're looking at as the problem is your true problem you're currently facing. So do take the time to look at all the information you have and really assess the information you have so that you can identify your true problem. And if you're having struggles in it by yourself, seek assistance from others. If you got other management team members, do that. If you need help from a consultant or a coach, do that. Don't do it by yourself. So that'll be the first thing, that problem identification is important. Once you've identified appropriate solutions, be willing and ready to take the action because you got to put in the work. You started a business for a reason. You got to put in the work and you got to be able to take the actions needed to move your business forward because it's your business and you want it to thrive. So you got to be ready, willing to take the actions so that you can move that business forward. So problem identification is that first one. Truly identify that problem. The second one is the actions. Be ready and willing to take the actions you need to move your business forward. And the last one I would leave you with, because Andrew only told me to do 3. The last one I would leave you with is do not just take the first result and think your action worked or didn't work. A lot of the actions we have to take, we do need more than one data point, so to speak. We need to be able to looking at the results for more than 1 hour or 1 minute or 1 day or 1 week. A lot of the actions we have to take, we need 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Some of them we might even need 12 weeks. Give yourself enough time to truly collect the results you need so that you can actually and appropriately analyze your results. So that first one is take the time to identify your problem. Don't just rush at the first thing and think it's your problem. Your second one is to be willing and open to take the necessary actions you need to move your business forward. And then the last one is don't just take the first result. Give yourself time. And if you did a good job at problem identification, then you know how much time you're going to need to see the change in those results so you can continue to move your business forward so it can soar.
Right. Well, we definitely want to soar. So, this is a great outline of what you need to do. Definitely want to attack the root cause or the thing that's going to give you the greatest result for your effort. Action is key. There's a saying, I don't know who came up with it, but really the only place where work comes before success is in the dictionary. So action involves work. It's not just and a lot of work. And small business many times think things take twice as long and cost twice as much as you think they will. So it's going to be hard work. But like you said earlier, it's your business. You can create, and then there's nothing better than being able to do that. So no, I think definitely this has been a pleasure. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang out. Definitely look forward to continuing our conversation and putting some of this stuff into place for myself as well. It's always good learning from other people like you. So definitely we'll have to have you back on again. Hang out. If you can hang out for a few minutes, I'm gonna just close things out and we'll chat. So let's do, once again, think had another great episode, another great guest, and really great content. So looks like you've gotten great feedback. We appreciate your feedback. We appreciate your comments. So it's great to have a live stream so we can have that type of interaction. So keep that coming, and definitely appreciate it, because we're doing this for you. So if you have questions, things you want to hear, or things you want to learn, now's the time to really share that. We did cover a lot of stuff, so the replays are available. So if you want to go check it out again and take notes or whatever, you can do that. Each week we have a different topic, a different guest. Actually, next week we have Jimmy Newsom, who's a fairly regular guest. And he's going to talk about how to get 1 million website visitors using AI. So even as a small business, even as a solopreneur, there's ways to do that and without paid ads. So I look forward to chatting with him about that. He's always on the cutting edge of marketing, digital marketing, AI, and other things. So it really brings a lot of value and a lot of insight. So looking forward to having him next week. And, really at the end of the day, as a business owner, the more you know, the faster and more successfully your business will grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.